All right, let's go over this problem. It says determine each quotient using synthetic division. Write the dividend as the product of the divisor and the quotient plus the remainder. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is that this is asking us for synthetic division. So I have the steps here just to remind ourselves. And the first thing we're going to do, it says use the zero product rule, which means you're going to set it equal to 0. I'm going to set this one equal to 0. And we're going to solve over here. 2x plus 5 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 5. I get 2x equals negative 5. And then divide by 2. I'm going to get x equals negative 5 halves. Okay? So that was step number 1, zero product rule. Okay, second thing I'm going to do is change colors here, is the coefficients. So let's use our highlighter here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight the coefficients. 2, 21, 22, and negative 45. Let's go ahead and write those. So I have 2, 21, 22, and negative 45. Okay, and to set this up, we're going to put our divisor there. And our 0 is going to go way over here. So I have negative 5 halves. And I'm going to highlight that because it looks kind of hard to see amongst all those things. So put in red. Super important, right? Okay, what do we do next? So it tells us to, number 3, bring down the first term only. So we're going to bring this down. And we have a 2 here. Then it tells me to multiply diagonally. So we're going to multiply these two numbers and get a number here. So let's do that. Negative 5 halves times 2. Now, if you've never multiplied fractions before, I recommend doing them vertically. How do you make 2 a fraction? You put it over 1. Here I can cross cancel. If you don't understand cross canceling, you'll see that when I finish the problem. So multiplying fractions, you're just multiplying across. Negative times a positive is a negative. 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 over 2. Well, what is 10 divided by 2? Well, it's 5. So your answer is, let's do it in color here, negative 5. Now, if you go back to the original problem, the reason why cross-canceling works, because you can cancel factors. Why? 2 divided by 2 is 1. So canceling equals 1. And you're just left with a negative 5. So there's my negative 5. Okay? All right, now it tells us to just add down. 21 plus negative 5, or 21 minus 5 is 16. And now I'm going to go ahead and multiply diagonally. I'm going to multiply. Whoa. Don't do that. Okay, we're going to multiply here, and this will give us this number. Okay, so negative 5 halves times 16. Let's do the same thing we did in the original problem here. I'm going to make this a fraction by putting it over 1. You can make 16 to be the factors of 2 and 8. So essentially this is what I have. And I can just cancel my factors. I can cancel the 2's there, and so I'm basically going to get negative 5 times h is negative 40, or negative 40 over 1, which we don't need, right? So negative 40 is our answer. All right, let's erase this part. Boom. No. No. You guys laughing over there? Let's see if I can get it with that purple. Hey. Hey. All right. Let's just erase it by pixels. Now it looks like it's black. Great. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to do the same thing because we got to repeat. So we're going to add down. 22 minus 40, negative 18. All right. What do we do next? Let us multiply diagonally. So negative 5 halves times negative 18. Negative 5 halves times negative 18. How do you make negative 18 a fraction? Over 1. We'll do the same thing we did above. So factors of 18 are 2 and 9 and negative 1. There's also a negative 5 and 2 times 1. So we can cancel out 2's and you're left with positive 45. Because the negative times a negative is a positive. So we got a 45. Okay, let's take a look at that one. Guess what? We get to add down. Isn't that great? So let's go ahead and add down. So what happens if we add down? Well, you get negative 45 plus 45 is 0. This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay. So now it says the last one is the remainder. Let's make sure we know that. This is our remainder. Let's write that. Remainder. This is our remainder. Okay. Okay, so now it says write the dividend. The dividend as or equal to the product. So that would be this one here. So the dividend is what we would go on the inside, right? So the dividend, oh, change colors, shouldn't do that to you. The dividend here is blue. So let's write that. 2x cubed plus 21x squared plus 22x minus 45 equals, right, the dividend as a product of the divisor. So our divisor is what we have on the outside, okay? So the divisor is this one. Divisor, which is 2x plus 5, okay? And the divisor and the quotient. And the quotient is our answer. And this is our answer. Okay. This is not we have to remember what those numbers mean. Those are the coefficients. So let's write that in the same color. 2, 16, and negative 18. And what we've basically done, if you think about this, is we've reduced it by an x. you reduce it by 1, the power of 1. So that means that this will be an x squared, and you kind of just go down. 16 is positive, so this would be an x to the first. Let me just write this for you because you'll see x to the first, and that's x to the 0. But do you guys see that red that I just wrote kind of in the crayon pencil-ish part? You don't normally write that. You just leave it out. Okay, so that is in red. This is our quotient. Okay. 2x squared plus 16x minus 18. Okay, and then let me get another color here. Then it tells us plus the remainder. So plus the remainder. Well, what was our remainder? Our remainder is 0. So it would essentially be something like this. And of course, you wouldn't write that, right? So let me just box my final answer. Let's pick a nice color we haven't used yet. Aqua. So, because I don't have a remainder, this would be my answer. So basically, we found the quotient using synthetic division, and we wrote the dividend as a product of the divisor and quotient plus the remainder. See you guys.